Hello, my name is Jennifer Simonton, and I am your instructor for Math 213, Section IN1 for the Fall 2021 semester at SWIC. The purpose of this introductory video is to show you how to navigate the course through Blackboard and MyMathLab and to go over a few highlights of the syllabus. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Blackboard and show you where the syllabus is located and go through all the important links to help you navigate through your assignments. All right, so when you log into Blackboard, this is the screen that you should see. So right here, this is what you see if you click on the Syllabus tab over here on the left. All right, so this file titled Syllabus MyMathLab Information and Assignment Calendar. When you open that up, we're going to just kind of go through the important parts of this in this video. All right, so like I said, this is the Math 213 IN1 section, meaning that it is business calculus online. My name, my phone number for my office, my location of my office, which is on the Belleville campus in the main complex in room 2047. And then my email address. This is the best way to get in contact with me quickly. That's probably going to be our main means of communication. However, you're welcome to stop by my office in person during my office hours, or we can set up a meeting via Microsoft Teams if necessary. So my scheduled office hours for this semester are Monday and Friday from 11 to 11:50 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays from 1 to 1:50 p.m., and then Wednesdays from 9 to 9:50 a.m. So those are the times where you can just come by my office without an appointment, or if you send me an email, I'll be in my office checking email. However, I do check email pretty much all the time, so you don't have to wait till during my office hour to send a message to me. But those are the times where you can just expect that I will be available no matter what. If those times do not work in your schedule, feel free to just contact me and request a different time, and I will be happy to try to work something out. Also, if in-person meetings are not convenient, like I said, we can set up something through Microsoft Teams. All right, communication, email, like I said, is the best way to reach me quickly. Okay, I normally try to respond to all questions within 24 hours. However, most of the time it's much faster than that. Also, you should be in the habit of checking your SWIC email several times a week. This is the main way that I have of communicating with you. So you need to be checking in on that frequently so you don't miss anything important. I will also be sending out a weekly email every single week, just reminding you of what is on your assignment calendar. This next statement here is important, just to let you know that proctored testing is a requirement of this course. Okay, you are not allowed to test remotely. So that means you're going to need to plan to come to campus to take the required test in the final exam. We'll talk more about that information on pages 2 and 3 of the syllabus. You will have 3 regular tests and 1 final. So that means a minimum of 4 times you will have to be able to come to campus. You don't have to come on a specific day. You'll have kind of a window of time to schedule those, but that is a requirement. Course description, prerequisites, and objectives are things you can read through on your own time. They're just basically detailed information about exactly what topics we're going to be covering. So let's move down here to textbook and course materials. All right, students are required to sign up for MyMathLab, and that will include all necessary course materials, and that's where you will find all of your assignments. Okay, I provide an access code. The access code is provided by the instructor, and we can find that on page 6 of the syllabus, including the access code, the course ID, and all registration instructions. So you do not have to purchase anything for this course in terms of materials. All that is included in your course fee. All right, if you would like to have a physical textbook that's not the ebook online through MyMathLab, the textbook that we're using, this is the title, and this is the one you would want to purchase if you want to have a hard copy. But that is optional. That is not a requirement. Calculator, the recommended calculator for this course is a TI-84 graphing calculator. Any graphing calculator will be fine. You can probably get by with a scientific calculator. However, a graphing calculator might be more convenient for things. The only restriction that you'll have on tests is that you're not allowed to use a calculator that has a CAS, a computer algebra system. So like there's an Inspire CAS version that you're not allowed to use. However, the regular Inspire is fine. And then there's the TI-89 is not allowed either because it has a computer algebra system in it. So yeah, if you have any questions about your calculator, just let me know. All right, the grading procedure. All coursework will be done in MyMathLab. Okay, so you'll do all your tests or all your homework, everything in MyMathLab. Tests and the final have to be taken at a SWIG testing center. You can choose either the Belleville campus, the Granite City campus, or the Redbud. All other assignments, which would include the homework assignments and the reviews for the tests, can be completed on your own. All right, this is an online course. However, it is not self-paced. There are due dates for things, and assignments not completed by the due dates, there's either a penalty or for tests you cannot make those up. So if you don't complete homework by the due date, there'll be a deduction of points. However, you can still complete it and get some credit. And tests must be completed by the due date without exceptions. So we'll talk about that here when we look at the assignment calendar in a minute. The grade calculation is done as stated right here. Homework is worth 10% of your overall grade, which translates to 50 points altogether for the entire semester. Test reviews collectively are worth 5% of your grade. So we have 3 regular tests, so those review assignments are worth 5 points each. And then there is 1 final exam review, and it's worth 10 points. So altogether, that's 25 points. However, I know that's not a huge amount of points, so a lot of people will, not really spend a lot of time on that. However, every single question that you will see on a test is contained, a very similar question, and possibly the exact question is contained somewhere in the review. So even though they're not worth a lot, doing those and making time to go through all of those questions and making sure you understand them will greatly help you prepare for tests. All right, tests are worth 60% of your grade. You will have 3 regular chapter tests worth 100 points a piece, so 300 points altogether. And then the final exam is worth 25% of your grade, which translates to 125 points. So then I assign grades at the end of the semester just based on the standard 10-point grading scale. All right, so to navigate the course, you'll need to be able to be familiar with both Blackboard and MyMathLab. All right, so before you begin the homework, you're expected to open, view, and take notes on lecture videos that are posted in Blackboard under Course Content tab and in the lecture videos folder. So I'll show you exactly where those are here in just a second. So there's a Course Content tab in Blackboard, and then inside of that tab, there's the folder titled Lecture Videos, contains all of the videos. Do not skip this step. I know it seems like this is time consuming, and yes it is, but this is the equivalent of going to class. These are the lectures I would give if I were teaching this class face-to-face. Okay, you have to find time to fit that into your schedule, but that is where you're going to get the information that you need to be able to understand the material and do the homework. My written out lecture notes for those videos are posted in the lecture notes folder under that course content tab. So you can watch the video and take your own notes, or you can click on the course content tab and the notes are in there. And they are actually PowerPoints. So instead of writing them out by hand, they're in a PowerPoint form, and what's posted in Blackboard is the PDF copy of the slides. All right, so let me show you kind of where that is before we move on to the next part here. So over here on this side, if you click on this tab over here that says course content, there are 2 folders, lecture videos. So then they're grouped by test. So for test 1, test 2, test 3, and then there's a couple sections at the very end. So if you click on videos for test 1, and then by section. So section R2, R4, R6, 1, etc. So if you click on that, it'll take you out to a YouTube video of me basically explaining all of the information and the examples that are in the PowerPoint. Okay. If you go back to course content here, or first let's go back to lecture videos and then back to course content. If you click on the lecture notes folder, you'll see the same folders here, but when you click on, say for test 1, and then click on R2, that is a PDF copy of the PowerPoint that I am talking about in the video. Okay, so you can take your own notes, or you can print out a copy of them to have in front of you, right, or both, or whatever. This is a little different than how I ran this course last semester, and I changed it based on some feedback I had from students. When I taught this online last semester, I posted the PowerPoints and the videos from MyMathLab that was provided by Pearson, and I had a few students that said that they really didn't like the videos being done by the publisher, so I decided to go through and do them myself. Okay, so we'll talk about MyMathLab in a minute, and in there, if you choose an option of watch a video, it will be the video provided by Pearson, which is someone else explaining the topic. These videos are me. Okay, so they're same content, but slightly different explanation. Okay, so that's under the course content tab. All right, so let's go back to our syllabus here. All right, so that's under the lecture videos and the lecture notes. All right, homework will be assigned in MyMathLab for every section of the textbook that we cover. Homework is set up as a learning tool, meaning you'll have unlimited attempts to get a problem correct. Pay attention to due dates, which is on the calendar. We'll look at that here in just a second. All homework for the whole semester is worth a total of 50 points. Test reviews are also assigned in MyMathLab. So before each test, there'll be an assignment that is set up as a homework assignment titled Test 1 Review, or whatever test it is. These are set up as a homework assignment. However, there is not a view an example option on the test reviews, and you don't have unlimited attempts. You only have 4 attempts per question. But it's a homework assignment, meaning you don't have to do it all in one sitting. It's not timed, things like that. All right, so it's kind of more of sort of a cross between a homework and a quiz, I guess, taking out the view and example and limiting the number of attempts. Remember, those are the ones that are worth only 5 points apiece, and they have a due date, but if you go through all the questions there and make sure you understand how to do them without looking at notes and things, you will be well prepared for the test. Okay, the test is basically a subset of the review. Okay, there's more questions on the review that are on the test, but the test questions come directly from the review for the most part. All right, 3 tests, each covering 2 to 3 chapters of material. Each test is worth 100 points. These are the tests. The tests are the assignments that you must take in MyMathLab at a testing center. You have to have an appointment with the testing center before you'll be allowed to take a test, and you are required to have a photo ID. It does not have to be a SWIC ID. It can just be a driver's license, but it has to have your name and your picture on it. So when you get there, you'll be assigned a computer. You'll log in, click on your assignments tab, find the test you're going to take. Once you click on it, you'll have to wait for a proctor to put in the password for you. Make sure you tell them which test you're on so they have the right password. And when you click start, you'll get 75 minutes to complete your exam. When you're finished, you just click submit. So you'll still be doing your test on the computer just like you're doing the homework. So all the questions will be same formatting that you're used to and all that stuff. You are allowed to use a calculator. It just cannot have a computer algebra system, and you cannot use a cell phone as a calculator. All right, the final exam review, just like the other reviews, only longer, so that's why it's worth 10 points. It just covers everything. And then your final exam is comprehensive, and you'll have 2 hours to take it in the testing center through MyMathLab, just like the other tests. And the due date for that final exam is the last day of finals week, which is Thursday, December the 16th. All right, I do go back through all of your tests in your final and assign partial credit. I don't do that on homework because you have the ability to correct things on your own because you can try things unlimited amount of time. However, on a test or a final where you only get 1 attempt, I will go back through, look at all your answers, and give you partial credit for any notation errors, or like sometimes you get full credit because you have the right answer, you just put it in the wrong form or something. To maximize the amount of partial credit that you will get, if you turn in your scratch paper and you have shown your work in an organized fashion and you turn it into the testing center when you leave, then I can review your steps that you've written out on paper and possibly give you more points. I won't grade it if it is just random things written all over the place that are not labeled or numbered. So if you do it in an organized fashion, like writing out, this is problem number 1, and then writing out all of your steps that I can follow, if it warrants more partial credit than you received in MyMathLab, then I can assign it. And you would just turn it into the testing center and they will give that back. They will make sure I get that. Makeup and late work. So homework, I am allowing you to work past the due date. However, if you don't complete it by the due date, then your grade is deducted by 15%. So if you haven't started the homework assignment at all and it was due yesterday and you go in tomorrow to do it and you get 100% on it, you actually only get an 85 because it takes 15% off. All right, but at least it's better than getting a 0. All right, but if you pay attention to due dates and try to keep up with your schedule, then you will not be deducted. For tests, if you have to miss a test for any reason, it's your responsibility to let me know and contact me to talk about a possible makeup. It must be an excused absence. Just being out of town or on vacation is not considered an excused absence. You are responsible for initiating that process. If you miss a test that was not allowed to be made up, then I can replace one missed test score with the final exam score. Any additional missed tests you will receive a 0 for. Okay, so it just will depend on the situation whether you're allowed to make that up or not. Okay. Student participation in online and remote learning is kind of the attendance policy here for an online class. You have to demonstrate ongoing participation in Blackboard and MyMathLab. It means that you're in regular communication with me and you're meeting course assignment deadlines. If you're not active in the course prior to the 10th day of the roster, or do not communicate or submit any work over a period of 7 consecutive days, then you could be withdrawn from the course due to lack of participation. And that would only really apply if you're behind. Some people like to get ahead for whatever reason, and so if they're ahead, and then, because they're going to be out of town for a week, and then they're not in communication with me for 7 days, that doesn't really count, as long as you're not falling behind on your assignments and you're completing the work. Okay, but if you just stop doing any work and you haven't, the last time you logged in was, October 1st, and then you don't do anything, say, until, finally on October 30th, then it's been way too long and you may have been withdrawn. Okay, so you have to try to keep up. The rest of this stuff is pretty self-explanatory. I'm just going to kind of let you read through that on your own. Core competencies, student learning outcomes is just assessment. If we're involved in an assessment, what that means. Emergency closure statement, just be checking Blackboard. If there's anything that comes up, like with an online class and you're not coming every day, that's not as big of a deal. But like if we have to close down due to weather or something and it's on a day a test is due or during that week of a test, I'll send out an email through or an announcement through Blackboard letting you know what's going on. So just be checking Blackboard and things like that on a regular basis. If you have Disability Access Center accommodations, I just need your form. This is the statement that the college has in the handbook for cheating. Basically my policy for cheating: if you're caught cheating the first time, you get a 0 on the assignment no matter what it is, and the second time you're withdrawn from the class with an F. Academic rigor basically just says that you're enrolled in a course that is 4 credit hours, meaning that you should be spending 4 hours on lecture material, like watching videos, taking notes during the week, and an additional 8 hours on doing the homework and other things. So that's kind of an average. A lot of people can get by with less. A few people, it requires more, but that's the expectation. That you should not expect to just, log in, watch a 30-minute video, get through the homework in 20 minutes, and then that's it. COVID safety precautions. This is really more for people that are on campus. For when you come to campus, you are required at least for now, to have a mask on when you're indoors, practice social distancing, etc. But for online students, that really only would apply when you're coming to campus to take your tests. Additional information, these are things you can kind of read through on your own. Course withdrawal, I will talk about that. The last day to withdraw from the course is November the 29th, so it's fairly late in the semester, and I'll just say here that I will not be issuing W's after that date. You are allowed to withdraw yourself up to that date. I would suggest, if you're thinking about that you contact me so I can let you know exactly where you stand and what the consequences would be and whether or not that's a good idea. I certainly don't hope that anybody finds themselves in that situation, but it does happen from time to time. But I will not be issuing any W's after the November 29th deadline. Okay, so if you're thinking about that, that decision would have to be made by you by that time. All right, this is the information on how to get registered in MyMathLab. All right, when it prompts you for a course ID, this is what you will be typing in. Then later it will prompt you for an access code, and that's where this comes in. Okay, remember, you do not have to purchase those. They're listed right here for you. You just follow the directions on this sheet. Okay, and then we're going to look at MyMathLab here in just a second, but this is the assignment calendar to let you know when things are due. Okay. Good time management will be key to being successful in this course. Okay, you are encouraged to work ahead. So just because everything says here it's due on a Friday, that's the last day that it can be done for no penalty. But you can certainly do it before that date. Okay, you should not be waiting until Friday of every week to do your homework. Don't make a habit of waiting till the due date. You should be working on assignments throughout the week, just like if you were attending a class face-to-face. So notice the first week we got 4 assignments, 3 from the review chapter, and then 1. So it's due on a Friday, so I would probably suggest getting started early in the week, like Monday, and get through them. And if you get through all these before Friday of week 1, you can certainly move on and start on your week 2, even if it's not August 28th yet. All right, so roughly 3 to 4 sections a week, okay, 4-credit class. That's about what we would cover in class. On the weeks where we have a test, it's usually maybe 1 section of homework that's being wrapped up, and then the review, and then your test. So if this week is our first test, September 18th through, and notice that our weeks start on Saturdays, because our class technically starts on a Saturday. So I would be doing like section 2.3, like maybe over the weekend. And then maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, spend those days kind of going through your review and making sure you understand all the stuff on the test, and then scheduling your test sometime, before Friday. You can schedule it for Friday the 24th, or if you've got other stuff going on and it's easier to get it done on Wednesday, then schedule it for Wednesday. That's fine. You just can't schedule it after the due date. Okay? So everything's due on a Friday until the very end. So this last week of regular classes, the homework will be due on Friday. The final exam review you'll have through the weekend to complete with no penalty. And then the final exam is the only thing during finals week, and it must be done by Thursday. So it can be done on Thursday, or it can be done on Monday, or it can be done whenever, as long as it's no later than this day. Okay? And it says subject to change. The only time that happens, I know last fall, I think it was, might have been spring. Anyway, within the last year, we had an issue where MyMathLab was having issues, and it was down, and you were not able to access it. Nobody was for like 2 days. So if that happens, then we'll move some things around. Okay? All right, so let's look over here, and I would print this out, at least this last page or these last couple pages with those instructions, so you have access to them easily. All right, over here we talked about what's under course content. If you click on the MyMathLab link, it just takes you straight to the website. And then when you sign in, I'm just going to show you real quick what it's going to look like in case you've never used MyMathLab before. And you'll have already done the instructions and set yourself up here. So you'll put in your username and your password. And then your courses will be listed. You may only have one or whatever, but Math 213 IN1 is what you should have been already enrolled in. So you'll click on that. And then what I like to do, there's multiple ways to get to your assignments. But if you come over here on the left and just click on Assignments tab, it just lists them all right here. And the due dates are listed over here on the left. So, you know, they're all in, and then you can, and they're in order, so you can kind of keep track. So you click on there, and then you go through and you do, then you can click on each problem. Homework assignments are untimed. Let me just show you real quick, kind of when I say you have unlimited attempts. So if I click on this one and click on question 1 to start, all right, so it's in the lecture video, I explain all this stuff. So a domain of a set, that what the correspondence means, and then the range. Is this a function? It's just a yes or no question. So, you know, you pick yes or no, and then once you click it, then you can, so if I click yes, it's a function, then I can click check, and it'll tell me if it's right or wrong, right? So, and then I move on. Let me move on to one here. I'm just going to scroll through here that's not a yes or no, just so you can kind of see how this works. Okay, so here we've got a function given by an equation here. I want you to find g of different things. Okay, and notice there's several things here: g of -7, g of 0, g of 3, etc. And you only get one at a time, so you have to do this part first. So calculate g of -7, simplify your answer. So I'm just going to type something in randomly. So when I click in the box, you know, I'm not even going to do it. I'm just going to type in 6 and just see, check answer. All right, incorrect. So it tries to, if it's wrong, it'll tell you why it's wrong or try to explain. The input is represented by x, the output by g of x, special notation, just kind of going through what function notation is. All right, so then you get to try again. Okay, so if I try to actually do what it says and type in an answer, I get to check it again. Okay, so that time I got the answer right. So then it says, okay, then you can move on to the next part. So what will happen is if you type in the answer wrong 3 times, it'll finally say, that's wrong, this is the right answer. All right, but it'll give you an option to try a similar problem. So for example, here, if I typed in, let's just get it wrong 3 times. Nope. Nope. And nope. So notice I got it wrong 3 times. It says the correct answer should have been -4, and the last answer I put in was 0. Okay. All right. So it was going to make you finish this problem, all parts, and then at the very end, when you're finished, and I'm not going to go through them all because it would take a while here. When you're done, if you had any parts that are wrong, you'll be able to click similar exercise. Okay, and then you can start over and try it again. Okay, so you always have that opportunity to get 100% on homework if you're willing to spend the time on it. All right, if you're stuck and don't know how to do something and need help, you can click Help Me Solve This. It'll help you with that particular problem, but then it won't give you credit for it until you do it on your own. View an example is the one that most people like the best, just because it gives you a specific example similar to the problem you have. However, you can still do the problem that you're given on the screen for credit. Some people like to bypass the whole video part and just use view an example. It gets you through the homework for the most part, but in my opinion, you're not really learning as much. So if you're going to use view an example to speed up your homework process, at least write down the problems that you're actually doing in a notebook and keep track so you can go back and review kind of, oh, I remember how this problem works. And then to get more help, if you click on that, that's where you can choose to watch a video. That's the publisher video. Sometimes they have an animation, which is just like a kind of another video, but it's not a person talking. You can read the textbook and see what's in there, or if you click Ask My Instructor, it sends me an email with a link to the exact question that you're on, and I can look at it and respond. Okay, or you can print and do it on paper and then come back in and type in your answers. Okay. All right, so when you're working on homework, you can quit at any time. And notice that it saves here, so it gave me credit for the one I got right. Remember, I skipped a couple, and it has partial credit for this one, so I can go back and pick up where I left off next time. Okay? One more thing real quick while we're in here. If you click on Student Gradebook, this is where all your grades will be compiled. I will transfer them to Blackboard eventually. Every test will be put in there. At midterm, I'll put kind of your homework score and all that, but it's always up to date in MyMathLab. All right, so, you know, it shows me that I've gotten a 10% on that first assignment so far, but it'll keep a running total for you. Okay? All right, so that is MyMathLab. Let's sign out of here. All right, over here also, let's see, testing center information. This folder or this link has their hours and location, so when they're open, what days and times, their guidelines, basically what the rules are, and then if you need to request an appointment, you can do so through this online appointment request form, or you can call them and schedule your appointments. Make sure that you're doing that well ahead of time. Like if you're going to schedule a test for, say, a Friday of whatever week that it's due, don't submit this form on Friday at 8 a.m. Like you need to do it a couple days ahead of time so they can let you know if your appointment time is available. If you want more immediate feedback on if you can get in at a certain time, I would suggest calling them. Success Center information down here is just same kind of thing, only in regards to our Success Center. If you need help with, they offer free tutoring and all kinds of extra resources. So this is just the website with all of their information on it. This is specifically their hours and locations. And this is a handout that kind of highlights their services. All right, and then Scotty is online tutoring through the Success Center. So if you click on that and then click on this link, it'll take you into Scotty and you can set up your online tutoring appointment if that would work better for you. All right, so if anybody has any questions whatsoever about anything that I've gone over here, let me go back to the syllabus real quick and just make sure there's nothing else in there that I did not mention. But if you have any questions about anything at all, feel free to email me at any time. Or if you want to meet with me in person, let me know and I'd be happy to set that up. So hopefully this has kind of explained everything you need to know to get started. And I look forward to a great semester.